beats Pelosi. Off the wall to Harris. Harris has got Pelosi. Harris to Pelosi. Shot. He scores! Chris Pelosi!
And Patra trying to drive in on that right wing side. Patra in. Scores! Matt Patra in overtime.
Millis took it right off his stick. Sends one through. They score! First career goal for the Bruins draft pick, Donald Millis. Back to the blue line. Cowan has it, looking for the return feed. Cowan lets it go back to the point. Shot!
Bills were without all of their World Junior guys for that against Simon Fraser. BC played him Sunday. Good pass ahead. There's Yelvik. He scores! Didn't need an exhibition.
Will come up with it. Ross Schwab flips it out to center. Now McKinney gets chased with Harrison. Harrison to the backhand. Score! A deft touch.
Watch out. Nelson steals. Walks in. Scores! 6-2. Jackson Nelson has the hat trick.
In a Crosby line. Derwin's that back. Now he's going to waltz it.
Welcome in, folks, for another episode of Dom.Hockey, the podcast brought to you by our friends over at Ice Shaker. Check them out, iceshaker.com. Get your own kitchen-grade stainless steel shaker bottle from them, as seen on Shark Tank. Dom, you excited for another prospects conversation here?
I am. We got lots of highlights, some lowlights, and lots to go over, starting with Andre Gassot today being named the Hockey East Co-Player of the Week after scoring 3 goals and 3 assists in 2 games over the weekend.
You love to see it. Good for the kid. You know, definitely having a decent year, and we've had quite a few chats about him. So I know we have some videos from his weekend. But anything that we forgot to touch on last night that you want to get to before we dive into this? I know sometimes
No.
we finish up the show when we think of something we didn't cover. So
I don't think so.
all righty. Well, where do you want to start with our prospects tonight?
Let's start with Casper Nason, Ohio, Miami, Ohio. Sorry. Lost 2 more. Haven't won a game since I think it was October 26th.
Just been brutal.
Yeah, they were in tough against Denver anyway. They lost 5-1 on Friday, 5-2 on Saturday. Mason didn't register a point. I think he's now 9 games without a point. Get the season over with and put them out of their misery. I think they got 4 games left and hope for better things next year.
Yeah. I'd be very interested to see if Casper puts himself in the transfer portal for next year and if we see his name pop up on a different roster.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he does. You got to think that the Bruins aren't happy about where he is. So,
It's also not like we talked about yesterday, the environment of winning. You haven't won a game in 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. It's just not an environment that I would want my prospect to be in.
No, it's going on 4 months now.
Yeah.
If they don't win one of their remaining 4 games, it'll be 4 months since they won a hockey game.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So what are they? I think they're 3-15 or 2-24-2 on the season.
Ugh. That's rough.
Yeah. So, enough on that. Let's not waste any time on it. It's just a bad season and a bad situation to be in.
Yeah. we'll reevaluate him more next season when we have. I think we need a better baseline for him.
Yeah. Yeah. And, 7th round pick. It's not like you should expect too much, if anything at all. But then you get to a guy like Andre Gasso, who was a 7th round pick. We already mentioned Player of the Week last week, who's having a fantastic season. So you just never know.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to jump over to Andre Gasso and the BC crew, or did you want to touch on
Well,
Dan
we'll touch on.
first because he's still here in UMass?
Yeah, we'll talk about Loch Mellis first. Back-to-back games for UMass with New Hampshire. They tied 3-3 on Friday. Loch Mellis did have an assist, secondary assist. It was just one of those where he just happened to touch the puck, no big deal. And they won 3-1 on Saturday. Loch Mellis was pointless. 2 stats that stand out for me on the weekend. Something he's usually very good at. Friday was 6 for 16 on the dot, and then Saturday was 4 for 11. Uncharacteristic numbers for him.
That'll be interesting to keep an eye on going forward there.
Yeah, so I didn't bother.
4 games left as well, we said?
BC.
Or sorry,
UMass, I believe have 4 games left. Might even be 3.
I was going to say, I think BC will have, they probably have 3 or 4 regular season games left, but I think they still hold their number 1 rank. So
yeah, and Minnesota's moved up to number 2. So
they have. Okay.
Yeah, that's Beckett Hendrickson's team.
Well, we will be chatting about him in a few.
Yeah. So let's move on to BC, number 1 team in the country. Oscar Yelvik doesn't appear like he's going to be back this season at all.
Do you think he might have a shot to play in a playoff game?
I doubt it. What I've been told is that when he came back from injury the first time, he shouldn't have been back on the ice. So he's been battling something all season long, and I think something happened that he re-aggravated and made things worse, and that he probably won't be back this season.
Probably for the best. I know we're kind of having some of those same conversations with the big club. Some of the players in that situation there. So at a certain point, you have to make the tough call. And I mean, he just doesn't have enough hockey left this season to warrant. Like, he's not going to all of a sudden earn himself a pro contract out of 3 games. So at this point, he's got to go back next year, show that last year wasn't the anomaly, and that he still has another level to get to.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning to, that if he doesn't come back, then he's probably going back for a 4th season.
I think it's the right move for him.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So Friday night, who did they play Friday night? Vermont won 6-3. So Dean Letourneau ended his pointless streak with an assist, face-off win, back to the point, and in for a goal. Why don't we show this, Chris? Because I want to talk about.
Yeah, and I might actually have the audio on it for this one. So let's give this a try. Let me know if you can hear it.
Take the draw, opposite of Thomas Sinclair of the Catamounts. Face-off win to the point. Through traffic, they score! A bar-down rocket from Will Scahan. And this game is tied at 1.
Yeah, that one really fooled Mangbo. A pretty innocent play
come across, and he was definitely screened.
All right. Could you hear the
Yeah,
audio
so
on
we
that?
got sound. Yeah. Now,
Perfect.
can you go back to the second highlight where it's closer to the draw, just at the face-off? So right
Yeah, and
there.
I'll mute it so that you can talk over it.
Now,
One thing I wanted to point out though is in the draw. Remember how we've had that conversation about Matthew Poitras and his strength
yeah,
on the dot? This is a
yeah.
great example of what happens when you have that strength.
Well, like move it forward just a bit. So you see the opposing player coming in. Stop her right there. Now, when he's coming in, you could tell by the placement of his hands that he wants to bring that puck back. Okay, his lower hand, his right hand is turned over on the stick, which means he wants to pull it back. Dean's got to recognize this. This is something that Patrice Bergeron was fantastic at. Because Letourneau is also a right-handed shot that wants to pull it back. If you watch Bergeron, he would swing his left leg forward to the left of the dot to prevent the player's stick from being able to draw it back. At the same time, gain momentum and strength to pull it back himself.
So in this instance, you're saying look at his left leg, how it doesn't move.
Yeah. No, he moves his right leg.
Yeah. Bring it back here so we can watch that in real time. Yeah, he uses his right leg to gain the leverage, which it's interesting that you say. I mean, it's great that he won the face-off,
And he
but
won
that
it
was
cleanly.
he won it clean with a lot of
He won it.
strength.
Yeah. But sometimes you have to think, I don't want to use the word defensively, but you have to prevent. You can't rely on sheer quickness and strength. Sometimes you have to do something else to prevent the person or the opposition from winning the faceoff. It's
Right,
like,
and that's what bumps Patrice Bergeron, up to such an elite level of taking faceoffs.
yeah. You watch all the great face-off guys; their legs are part of the face-off. Where they, and it'll come for Dean. I'm sure it will.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it wouldn't.
So,
I mean,
same game. Andre Gassot had what was it? A goal and 2 assists. So his first goal puts BC up 3-2. Sorry, the first assist. We've got this one right.
yeah,
I'm
got it right here, and we got audio.
So
for
he's
this one
not.
as well.
Yeah, he's not in the picture right now. But he comes into the picture.
So, back to Powell. Leonard scores. Well,
So nothing big. Secondary assist, right?
power play, it felt like.
But
Yeah, I mean, he carries that deep into territory along the wall,
He's
though.
probably not going to miss on the fourth one, and you.
yeah, he recognized where the space was, and he found the guy at the point, and not bad for a secondary assist.
Not bad at all.
But
I love the
know.
fact that he's playing on a line with Ryan Leonard.
yes.
So, and then I know you're getting to this one.
The second one is off face-off. He wins the face-off.
Duncan Ramsey's the other defenseman on the ice.
Again, secondary assist.
One-timer.
But what I like is that he loses his guy on the draw and goes straight to the net.
Funky bounce on the way in.
Yeah,
A power play goal with 3 seconds left in the major.
solid.
5-on-3, and it's a 2-goal
I mean, it's
lead
just
for
good
BC.
positioning is what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's something we wish some of the guys on the big club would do.
Yeah, no kidding. And then
So,
we got- go ahead.
hold on. We missed one here. The goal that he got.
Game. Oh, the goal on Friday.
Yeah.
That was his rip. They called it for Ryan Leonard.
Oh, yes. So on Saturday, Gasol had, what was it on Saturday? 2 goals and an assist. They won the rematch 4-1. I'm trying to remember. Oh, his first goal was, or his first point was an assist on the shorthanded goal.
Yes, which we have right here.
Seconds left on the power
You can
play.
see him
Now-
in the middle.
Lost the handle. Here's Stiga, shorthanded. Stiga in. Stiga scores.
Now go right back to the beginning and
Kessler with 22 seconds left on the power play. Kessler.
Nice little backhand pass.
Stiga, shorthanded.
yeah.
Stiga in.
Well,
Stiga
it's him breaking up the
scores.
play
Yeah.
at the blue line.
The
That's
7th of the year for BC.
like if you
Yeah.
bring it back to the beginning and stop it.
To here.
No, right to the beginning. So there he is. He's going on the attack, but he circles back, which
Yeah,
unfortunately is out of the picture. But there he is coming back.
He breaks up the pass,
Power play.
Yep.
Kessler.
and then
Lost the
in
handle.
one motion
Stiga, shorthanded.
sends
One
Stiga to
motion.
the breakaway.
Stiga
So very, very, very solid play overall from start to finish. And Stiga, of course, was drafted, I think, by Nashville. So again, another line mate that you are happy he's playing with.
And Stiga's a darn good hockey player too.
Yeah.
So next we get the goal that Gasol scores to make it 2-0. And if you stop it right at the beginning,
Yeah, I got it right here.
okay, you'll see him there. He's falling to the ice. So he gets up basically unchecked
Here in this
and
first
just
period, 1-0 BC
stays
lead
away
by
from
11. Streaking in, hit by Ramsey,
the
sent it
defense.
For a shot, they score. Oh, what a hammer shot by Andre Gasol.
And it was a shot.
Here in this
Trying to see if I can get it queued up a little neater here. Oh, wow. Nice blast.
Yeah, but another one of those guys that can go undetected. Yeah, he was knocked down, but they let him go, and he knew where to go, stayed in open ice, and ripped it. Like that was a blast. Then he scored, what is it? His 13th of the season. This one basically put it out of reach. Again, another blast.
I was just saying, I don't have that one. I just have the 2-0 goal.
You don't have that one?
Just
Made
the
it
2-0
4-0 Saturday?
No, the next one I have is I might have that one. Let me just check a different folder here and see if it downloaded. Mass downloads, gotta love them, right? Nah, it's still on my email. I'm seeing the label now. I don't have that one. Sorry.
All right. And we'll move on to
Apparently, I can't count while I'm waiting for my car to get worked on.
obviously not. We'll move to North Dakota and Jake Schmaltz. Back-to-back games with Minnesota Duluth. They won 4-2 on Friday.
Real quick, I know Kevin's just writing this to get under our skin. Dean's a bust, not enough points.
Schmaltz was back in the middle again after a couple of weeks playing on the left wing, centering the second line. Went pointless on Friday, 9:15 on the dot. He ended, I think, a 7-game pointless streak by scoring his 5th of the season on Saturday night, which North Dakota won 6-1. So let her go from here.
The 6-point weekend they've
Schmaltz
been
is taking
craving
the face off.
for the Bulldogs. Again, their penalty kill has been
This
good
is
of
a
late.
long one. It's just his positioning the whole
See what
time.
they can do here now. Down and
Battle
for the
for the
next
puck.
5.
Now he goes out and
Livanovic
tries to screen the
with puck in the zone
goaltender
already. McLaughlin with
from
2 assists
distance.
tonight. Berg, the power play goal earlier in this period to Livanovic. McLaughlin, Livanovic again!
And the deflection in
Livanovic on the power play!
Go ahead,
that
Dom.
was Schmaltz's goal. He was given credit for it. Don't listen to the announcer. He did get his stick on it.
I was gonna say I'll let it play as you keep talking, just because it was a nice long highlight and solid play. Good movement on the power play overall, and just by doing the right things, you're gonna get your stick on the puck at the right time.
And
So-
that's what he was doing there. Still, I don't think he gets a contract. It's his senior year. This is it for him. I forget where North Dakota is ranked now.
He might get like an ATO or an AHL, ECHL contract or something, just so they can kind of get him in and see him more. But I don't think he's going to get a traditional ELC. Is the best way for me to put it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, the other way to put it is they only have 5 ELC spots, 5 roster spots that they can.
Doesn't
sign
matter.
him.
They can sign him for next year.
Yeah.
Well, most guys that are coming out of college, they get an ATO for this year, and then the contract starts for next year.
Well, either way, we will have to see what he has earned himself.
Yeah, so moving on to Minnesota, like I said earlier, now ranked number 2 in the country behind BC. Beat Ohio State 4-1 on Saturday. Beckett Hendrickson set up the game-winning goal, and I'm telling you, I've watched this highlight a million times, if not 1,000,001, because I think this pass was just unbelievable. So there he is on the wall, bottom of your screen.
There's not a lot of energy.
Here's Hendrickson. Great
Oh.
pass. Feeds it across.
There's another view of it.
That is a cross ice pass.
Well, wait till we slow it down and I break it down even further.
Getting your defenseman more involved in the play. That time Ryan Chesley stepped up. He was on the weak side. Pass came across, and that came.
All right, so you talk. Oh, and backwards.
Yes.
That's
So go
second
back to the
angle.
beginning.
Yep.
Now go up a little till they hit the blue line and then stop it. Okay, right there. The play most people would make, most players, is to send that to the guy closest to him, his teammate closest to him. Not right on a stick, but to lead with the pass and hope he can outskate the 2 defenders. That
which
is the
probably
play.
can beat him because he's going to have to turn around with it.
Well, that is
So-
the play 99 times out of 100, 99 players would make. Not Beckett Hendrickson on this one. Let her go. It wasn't even an option to him. Now, go back again to when he hit center ice.
Right about here.
Stop it right there. That is where Hendrickson looks over his shoulder to see where everybody is.
I want to see if we can see his head. Oh, no, he did it at the blue line. His
Oh, no,
head
he
turned
did it
right there.
He did it at center ice. That's center ice.
Right there. That
He'll
his
do
head
it again
is
at
turned.
center ice. He'll do because I've enlarged it right there. He turned his head.
Oh, right around here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right
yeah,
at
I see
center
it.
ice.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a double check right there.
Yeah.
But I mean, the guy he's looking at is wide open too.
Yeah. Normally you look once and you do a second look to make sure he's still coming, because that is a defenseman.
But still,
I
that
love the play. I've literally watched it. Well, not a million, but I've watched it dozens of times. I'm just so impressed with it.
and looking at it from the other angles as well, it's. I mean, right there, the twist, the pass, he gets just enough zip on it, puts it right on the stick too. Can we point that out? I want to mention that if you look at this angle as they're coming towards you, when he makes the pass, not only is it with power and speed, but the accuracy. The guy has no movement to get and accept that pass.
Yeah.
It is. And the other guy who's trailing him is just totally gassed. Oh,
Yeah.
that is. It's a beautiful highlight.
Yeah. So a little bit different one from Saturday night. An unselfish Beckett Hendrickson, net empty at the opposition end. Basically, a 2-on-0. He has a wide open cage 5 feet in front of him. He's just outside the picture there where the arrow is.
Gophers can't get it out, though. Rinzel goes down. But Hughlin will get it out. Empty net. Hughlin feeds it across. And Lamb scores! An empty net.
They may be 10
goal.
feet out.
And the Gophers
He passes
are
it off.
back up
That
by
was
2.
good for him.
I mean,
Most players that age would be putting the puck in the net.
yeah, especially when the net is wide open.
Yep.
Get the easy goal. But
Yeah, so he's up to 3 goals, 8 assists on the season.
do you know what you had him projected for?
I can tell you in 1 minute.
I'd be curious to see how those 11 points are lining up with your projections for him.
I had him projected for 27 points. He's on, depending on how far Minnesota goes, I had them going very far. He's projected for 13, or he's on pace for 13 points. The problem is, when he's playing with the best guys, like moves up, he's getting the points. But most of his time is on the 3rd or 4th line, mainly 4th line. I'm not worried about his production.
I was just say, yeah, that was a lot of his time. I mean, also freshman season, so can't really put too much stock in production.
If he was playing second line, he would have made those numbers easily. I really believe that.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly would have been a hell of a lot closer. I mean, I'd want to go back and look at his time on ice per game, but it's certainly been when he's gotten the time on ice, when he's gotten that top 6 time, he's producing. So
I'll tell you, his time on ice for Saturday night was 11 minutes and 12 seconds. I don't have Fridays in front of me.
No, but again, this is where the highlight tells more of a story of what he's capable of than the stats on paper.
Correct.
Because while the stats on paper tell you what he produced, again, 11 minutes on a time on ice, and I mean, that's kind of where he's been on average. So, but if you can do that in a 3rd line role, by the time you're a sophomore in college, you'll be getting those first line minutes. Let's see where he's at next year.
Yeah, and it's mostly 4th line that he's getting.
Yeah, that's true. So,
Colorado College today came out ranked 20th. Let's see. Played St. Cloud State on Friday night. Won 4-3. Our boy Ty Gallagher, no points. He's dropped now down to 3rd in scoring for Colorado College was a -1, 3 shots on goal.
You mean a couple forwards finally passed him?
Yeah. 20 minutes and 58 seconds time on ice. Saturday, they lost to St. Cloud 4-2. Pointless again for Gallagher. Listen to this. Game high, 6 shots on goal. Not a team high, game high.
He's trying.
And a game high 23-29 time on ice.
Kid is a minute eater.
They got 2 games remaining against Denver. It's going to be tough. Again, ranked 20th in the country. So we'll see what happens there. His season could be done sooner rather than later.
Yeah, but he's someone that I would expect to see in some way, shape, or form move on to the pro rankings.
Yeah.
We're going to have our depth tested this year without McAvoy and Lindholm. So he's the kind of player that if someone else gets hurt on the right side and someone needs to get elevated, he'll start seeing a lot more time in Providence. And depending on how he plays, he could play his way up. We've seen it before. I wouldn't expect it, but
no, he's not playing a game in Boston.
He still needs time, though. I wouldn't expect it. So,
and it's not like Providence couldn't use the help right now either.
Right, especially for their Calder Cup run, because they're going to have one in them, and I'd love to see Gallagher get that playoff experience in the American Hockey League.
Yeah. So our boys, Chris Pelosi and Elliot Grunwald, right now they hold down 14th spot in the nation, 29-2 on the year. Beat Yale on Friday 4-1. Grunwald, not a point, 2 shots on goal, 21-10 time on ice. 19, a freshman, getting top pairing minutes. Pelosi, his hot streak came to an end. He did have 2 shots on goal, 4 for 9 on the faceoff dot, 17-12 time on ice. Then on Saturday, they blanked Brown. Pelosi had a pair of assists, a +1. 12 for 16 on the dot, 16 minutes, 13 seconds. Grunwald had an assist of his own, +1, 4 shots on goal, 19 minutes time on ice.
Yeah, and you circled Pelosi here for this. I believe this was the opening goal for yes, it was for Quinnipiac against Brown. We'll let this one run out. Short little highlight clip here.
Pass for Borgula, over to Pelosi, pass across, they score! Jack Ricketts is 19th in the season. The catch strike on the power play, it's 1-0.
Again, Pelosi just being able to get into open ice, beat defenders with his speed, and a perfect pass into an open net.
And he got the goaltender to commit too.
Yeah.
So, he knew that he had someone backdoor and got the goaltender to commit. Once he did, he knew his opening was there, so he slides it over.
Yeah. I think that's all we got from that game, right?
Yeah, the next one I have is Ryan Walsh. So, any other thoughts on Pelosi or Grunwald?
No. I think they're both having great seasons. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. They got 2 games left.
I was just going to say 2 regular season games left, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't remember where Quinnipiac was rated, but they should be a playoff team, right?
They should be. 14th. They're ranked 14th.
Yeah. So we'll see what they can do for damage this year in the tournament.
It'll be a good experience for both of them.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like that NCAA tournament is fantastic hockey, fantastic experience.
It is no joke.
Yeah. I wish all the guys could go through it, but unfortunately, we're going to have a few missing it.
Real quick, I just got this on my phone. I know it's not Bruins prospects, but the Anaheim Ducks just acquired Ville Husso from Detroit for future considerations. It is hockey related, so I just thought I'd
That means
mention.
Johnny Gibson. So Gibson's on his way, eh?
He's got to be. He's got to be. I just thought I'd mention it. We'll get back into the Bruins prospects, but since that just came through, yeah, that came from the Ducks themselves. So we'll have to see. There's got to be
Oh,
another
well.
pending move there.
Yeah, you got to figure Gibson's on his way someplace.
About time for the guy.
Maybe Edmonton.
I heard Edmonton likes what they have with Skinner and they want to roll with him. And I know this is the year cap-wise they've had the best flexibility to do it. But I know the team that was sniffing around the most on Gibson was Carolina. Kevin, did we dull you to sleep with some of the prospect videos and stuff?
TSN just did a thing tonight about how bad Edmonton's goaltending is.
Oh, it's been brutal.
When it comes to goals saved above average, and
if there's a team that needs John Gibson, it is absolutely the Oilers. Absolutely. I am crossing my fingers. I want to see that, but I know the Canes were the ones that were sniffing around him the most because of the injuries to Frederick Anderson, and of course they were relying on Kochetkov so much. So now that the Ducks have Ville Husso, I'll keep an eye out to see if we get another drop here.
just out of curiosity, what did they give up?
It's future considerations.
Oh,
so the other thing is this could be a move for Detroit.
Cap dump.
Could be cap dump. So
interesting.
They save $3.6 million off their cap by trading Husso per Pagnota. So the move could be for Detroit to acquire someone.
Interesting.
So, well, imagine if they went out and got Rantanen.
Oh,
just because we were talking about the Canes. Anyway, Ryan Walsh.
Yeah. So
Ryan.
Yeah. So they fell to 11-9-6, and they're 27th in the country right now after a 3-1 loss to Clarkson on Friday. Walsh didn't register a point. 17 for 26 on the dot, 20-55 time on ice. He's getting a lot of minutes. This is a centerman playing 21 minutes a game. On Saturday, total reversal. They blanked St. Lawrence 6-0. They clinched home ice in the ECAC playoffs. He had a secondary assist on the goal that made it 3-0, but he was a -3 in this game, which is a +3 in this game, which is great for him because he's a plus-minus machine. 13 for 21 on the dot. We've got the highlight of the assist here, I believe. Yes.
We do, right here.
Good boy, Chris.
As coming to Ithaca as maybe they had been in past seasons. Here comes Bancroft. In, big wind-up! Kaczynski looks behind him! They score! Kaczynski just held his ground, but the puck came free. And Sullivan Matt extending the Big Red advantage here with just over 6.5 to go in period number 2.
Great job by the Big Red. Opportunistic, created a turnover right at the St. Lawrence blue line just as they were trying to break out. And Dalton Bancroft just has all the time in the world to tee it up. He just laser. Great pass right here. Ryan Walsh over to Bancroft. He's able to just tee it up.
I got to say, some college fans can get the chance going.
Oh, yeah. But that was all in one motion. Pick up the puck and pass it across, all in one motion.
Oh, super solid move. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
one thing about watching Cornell games is I always laugh when they call them the Big Red and they're wearing the white jerseys. It's like, okay,
right?
I know that's what they call them, the Big Red, but do it when they're wearing the red jerseys. Just call them Cornell any other time.
Yeah, it's some of those are just funny. But yeah, someone else that I would expect to probably return for a junior year.
Definitely.
I just don't see it. I mean, maybe if you get 3 more, or not 3, but 3 straight years of this type of production, maybe next year you're looking at saying, "Hey, do you want to forego your 4th senior year?" But it just not yet. He's not quite there yet. So
yeah, I don't know. I thought he had a great season last year. Let me see what I had him pegged for. So he's got right now 13 goals, 11 assists, 24 points. I had him pegged for 17 goals, 18 assists. He's on pace for 19 goals, 16 assists. So right there.
yeah, and Mike says he should bring Bancroft with him.
Yes, I didn't say that. Yes. So Mason Langenbrunner, Harbor dropped 2-1 Friday to Union, 44th in the pairwise rankings. He was a -2, 2 shots on net, almost 19 minutes time on ice. Saturday they got past RPI 3-1. Game high 6 shots on goal, 2019 time on ice. A guy that was playing 8 minutes a night as a 7th defenseman not that long ago.
I know.
What can you say?
Well, it's funny because that parallels exactly what happened with Gallagher.
Exactly.
And it's funny because I remember when we said it about Gallagher last year, something's going on, let's see what happens. Something's going on, let's see what happens. And it was Mason Langenbrunner this year. We're like, maybe he just doesn't have it. So
yeah,
even our own eyes or our own opinions can get in the way, because if we had looked at the two situations exactly the same, we would have been saying the same thing. There must be something going on. Let's continue to monitor it. We did that for a little while and then grew impatient of it. And sure enough, as soon as we gave up on him, right back to
there you go.
Right back to being the guy. So
it happens.
That's what makes this the place to be, though.
Yes. So Jonathan Mirenberg, the guy I was so happy the Bruins got back in the Jack Studnicka trade from the Canucks.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about it. Missed 34 games due to injury. They lost a couple of games last week. They're ever so dangerously close to being in the relegation round and being dropped down the league for next season, which puts huge question marks over him. I really broke down his game Friday. I got a highlight of it.
Yeah, I got it right here.
So before you play it, just bring it up. There's Mirenberg there. Okay. I've seen him make this play a million times. He's that solid defensively. So let her go, Chris.
All right.
Let it go. So stop it there. Back it up a bit.
I figured you meant like right about.
Yeah. So the puck rode up his stick and got past him. But like I said, I've seen him make the play a million times and he never gets beat. What bugs me is right here, he gives up on the play. And that's the Berg I know. Yeah, he probably isn't up.
Go ahead.
Probably isn't up to full speed yet, but I'm not making excuses for him because you should never give up on a play.
100% agree with you on that. I guess my question is how much do you think it weighs on him? One, physically, because he's missed so much time and he's rusty and he's still getting his legs under him. And two, mentally, knowing that no matter what he does, it doesn't change the team's position as far as potential relegation.
In that play, there were times where I would see him take the body. Okay. He went at it with his stick. He got part of it. His blade was probably turned wrong and the puck went up and over to the opposition and then gives up on the play. How much is that physical? How much of that is mental? I don't know. I would have to think that it's mostly mental because he usually does not do this. And then I went back and looked at other games, other scenarios like this, and he just doesn't have it this year.
I mean, missing 30 games will do that to you.
Sure it will, but at some point, I'm big on compete level and work ethic and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I know.
But it's gone there.
I was going to say, it's an inexcusable error. It could be a lapse in error in judgment on the player that this isn't going to be a career-defining thing for him, but he also has to show that this is a one-time thing.
But it's not a one-time thing.
That's what I mean. He has to show that going forward.
Yeah.
So
disappointed, but it is what it is.
It could be the reason why the Bruins look at him and go, whatever. They let Mantakivi go and his rights expire. They may do the same with Nierenberg. They may look at that and say, we don't want that anywhere near our organization. Period. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. Because a decision has to be made on him by June. You give me a Jonathan Nierenberg of the last 3 years, I'm signing him to a contract. This year is all questionable for me now.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I wanted to see what he would look like when he came back, and he's only got a handful of games left to prove where he's going to be to finish out the year.
Yeah, and Nierenberg is an 04. His birthday's in April. Yeah, I remember. It's a couple of days after my wife. So he's going to turn 21 in April. Still young.
The agreement to get him over here, what does that agreement look like regardless of relegation? Set that aside for a minute. He wouldn't be eligible to transfer to the U.S. until what age?
Well, see, he was drafted before the new agreement, so I don't know if it's grandfathered or not. Gotcha. Nowhere in the agreement does it specify that. But the agreement states now that only first-round picks can come over to North America before they're 24 years of age. Swedish players. Everybody else has to wait until they're 24. But there's a catch. You can pay the IIHF, you can pay the Swedish Hockey League, and you can pay the player's team to get him out of that contract.
Right. You're paying 3 fees.
Right.
Multiple commas in those checks.
And the fees are going to cost more than his entry-level contract. Second of all, leagues that fall under the IIHF umbrella, which the Swedish Hockey League does, allows Nuremberg to get out of his contract by June 15th of every summer. Okay? So on June 15th, Nuremberg can say, I want out of my contract, and he's out. Because he still has another year beyond this one back in Sweden.
Now, hypothetically speaking, if his contract, if he goes back, plays his final year on his current contract, he finishes that season, he's 22 years old. Okay.
The Bruins don't hold his rights anymore.
But he can sign in the NHL as a free agent.
Right.
Even though he's 22.
Right.
Could make a push for him as a free agent at that point, but I feel like if they're not going to, I mean, I don't know. Unless they were really turned off by this 1 year, I don't see them going that route.
I don't know. I've seen stranger things happen.
Yeah. He's definitely going to be a player to look at going forward, though, because there's going to be an NHL team that takes a look at him and tries him.
I would, but I have a lot of questions about this year. How much is related to what? So, I was really high on him.
Yeah. We'll have to see where the career path takes the kid. So, plenty of time left, though, for him to turn things around in his young career.
Yep. So let's turn to the boys in the USHL before we go back to Philip Svedback. So they lost back-to-back games to the U18 team. U18 team.
Yeah.
4-3 on both nights.
I think we chalked that up to oops.
We got Spicer highlights from Friday night, right?
Yeah, I got the 3-2 goal.
Let's do that one.
Apparently,
I don't remember it. Where is he? I missed the arrow. Oh, there he is. Again, which is a common theme with Spicer. Eludes his check, gets to open ice, and stays in open ice. Remember last week we showed almost the same thing with him taking a big hit in that very same spot and going to the net where he is now to score the goal? Chris?
Dom?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Guess there was an issue with my microphone. What I was saying is if you look at him for the duration of this clip, he's got no one on him other than when he steps in front of the net right here.
Yeah, and then he eludes him again.
Yeah, he is wide open this entire clip by the goal line.
And if we had the goal from last week, it was almost identical, except he took a big hit where he started off from here.
Yep, and I got his other one queued up here off the face-off. Where he drives in, goes to the net.
Dirty goal.
Whew. Yeah, and I know you highlight him coming in off the draw, wins the draw, and immediately cuts to the net, and he's wide open on that cut until finally someone catches up to him, and that's why he misses the first opportunity. Cuts back and is able to get it again. So really strong puck battle in front of the net on the second one there. And
yeah,
just really great elusiveness to stay down low. You got to love to see it.
Yeah, so he's up to what? He's up to 6 goals, 17 assists, 23 points in 26 games. Questions with him are mainly, where is he going to play next year? Is he going to try and go back to school? His only other option, he's what? He'll be 21 in June. His only other option is to try and turn pro.
I wonder if you could see him get an ECHL contract.
No. Right? What do they make? $20,000 a year?
Well, an AHL two-way, you know what I mean? Like,
there aren't many. Honestly, I would hope that he tries to go back to school.
you would hope it, but I mean, we'll have to see what he wants to do.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I like the player. There's something there. I don't know what it is yet, but there's definitely something there in the player. So I don't want him. I don't want the Bruins making the wrong decision for him until they find out what it is that the player's got. I mean, 4th round pick in 2022. They must have seen something that they liked.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm wondering if they get him on some sort of tryout agreement next year.
Yeah, I don't want him on a I think the best thing for him is to try to go back to school.
No, I know. I'm saying if he really doesn't want to try school, if there's no way to get the player to agree to that route.
But I think he wants school.
Okay. Well, that's
I think
good.
what he was having was difficulty with school. So whether he's done enough through this season and can do enough in the summer to get back to school remains to be seen.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Okay, so let's get to Svedback.
What about our Dubuque guys?
Oh, we were just talking about that.
Konstantinsky, Morello?
Quiet weekends.
Okay.
Morello had an assist with 1 shot on goal on Friday. Kostaditsky had zeros across the board. Wasn't a good weekend for them.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that. I don't want people to think we forgot him. So let's get to our boy Svedback.
Yeah, so Providence College is in 7th spot nationally. Lost 3-0 to BU on Friday. Svedback stopped 23 shots. Now, what's the common theme I've said about Svedback all season long?
Back to
Because
back.
Yeah. He's been showing improvement, but when he plays back to back, I don't like him so much. So they won 4-2 on Saturday, but I got highlights of the 2 goals that Svedback let in.
So this is the first one.
Out wide, like we see so many skaters do in the shootouts.
Stop it there. Okay. 5-hole. Where's his stick? Where's his paddle supposed to be? If it was where it was supposed to be, this puck doesn't go in the net. And the other thing to look at is look how crouched down he is.
Yeah, that's...
Look at the net up top.
He's got all upper shelf to go.
Yeah. So he's left everything up top open, and he's left his 5-hole wide open.
Now it'd be different if he was out another 2 or 3 feet cutting down the angle. then this is an okay stance to be in. He's just too
No,
close to his
it's
net
not.
for this.
It's not.
But
He's just not technically sound here at all. Look where his glove is.
yeah, no, absolutely. I'm agreeing with you. I'll
Let
back
it
it
go.
up here. Paddle should go flat. I mean, he doesn't even move it to that side. He doesn't try to put the paddle down. That was.
And the other one is just as bad. People are going to say, people are going to say, Dom, you're being too harsh on him, but I don't think I am.
Well, let's take this one through.
Flyers might have got away with a cross-check there. A hit from behind, right in front. Scoring again is Pearson Brandon. His third of the year again.
The room upstairs.
Yeah, I'll take it forward.
Just stop it
here.
Right there. Now he's going to go really slow. It's like all that room he left upstairs just, I don't know. I don't like him in second games and back-to-backs.
Yeah, he's
I will say this.
He's not closing anything out on the short post at all.
No, but I will say this. All that is fixable. It's all fixable. It can be coached out of him, or it could be coached into him on what to do. It's just, I'm seeing too much of it too often. A lot of times Providence has a hard time outscoring the opposition. There are times where they outshoot them like 30-20 and they win 2-1.
Yeah.
Right? It's 35-15 and they win 2-1. So I don't know. I know it can be coached out of him. I just don't have a hell of a lot of confidence in him right now.
So Mike has a question here, and it's similar to what I was going to bring up. He says, do you think the back-to-back thing is a conditioning and physicality issue? I mean,
I think it's more mental.
That's what I mean. Mental back-to-backs, just not mentally prepared for that kind of, I don't want to say wear and tear, but that kind of usage, the frequent usage.
He's not going to get the coaching in college that he will in the pro ranks, obviously. So I will say this. Bob Essenza has got to see something in him at this point where he can say to Don Sweeney, yes, sign him. I can work with him.
Yeah, and Bob Essenza is going to play a huge role. His team is going to play a huge role. I know a lot of people are already clamoring to trade Korpisalo, bring up DiPietro, bring up, this and do all this stuff with our goaltending. But if Bob Essenza looks at the goaltending situation and sees that it's not going to be any better, calling up DiPietro, trying to get him in the NHL, that's not going to be a better situation, then you can complain and whine all you want to trade Korpisalo. Bob Essenza wanted Korpisalo of the two back in the deal. He ain't going anywhere until Bob Essenza says it's okay to move on from him.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Svedback. I don't see NHL starter potential in him at all. That's
fair enough. We'll see if he can make it to a number 2 spot.
Yeah, so what do we got? We got a bunch of Providence stuff to fly through. So Friday, beat Utica Comets 4-2. Michael DiPietro stopped 22-24. Ian Mitchell with the game-winning goal and 2 assists. We have everything from these games, do we not?
Yeah, I got the Letary one first here.
From Friday night, right?
Yep, Letary making it 1-0 Friday. You've done a great job highlighting him in the circle here on the near wall.
Player
Lots of speed. He'll head to the bench for a change. Lettieri dragging it. Lettieri's in. Lettieri shooting. He scores. What a goal.
Two defenders like that. Lettieri has some skill. I hope they keep him around for Providence next season, because I tell you what, him and people are going to hate me for saying it, Patrick Brown are, and we'll talk more about this when we get to Sunday's game, because those two really spoke up in the dressing room when they were down 4-1 after one period and come back and won. But those are the guys you want leading the charge for the younger kids to show them the way.
And you mentioned Patrick Brown. We've got him right here on the next highlight with the
Yeah,
arrow.
they fell down 2-1, and he comes back and ties it.
Mitchell left it, shot, scores. Patrick Brown ties the game in the power play. That one through a screen.
That was just a hell of a shot, ripped right from the circle.
Oh, wait till you see Miller's shot, or Mitchell's shot.
Oh, this next one here that we have from Friday, making it 3-2.
Yeah, I think it was this one.
Got him highlighted in the circle right above the dot.
Now Lettieri again, shooting, save, scores, off the body and in. It's a 5-on-4 goal. Poulter got a piece, but not enough.
It's funny, when we talk about the college kids, or the non-pros, we're always talking about them not taking the big wind up and just getting pucks on net, and they're getting very good at it. And here we have Ian Mitchell just blasting it. This was a really good shot.
I mean, but he had the time too. There's no one near him.
Yeah.
He's already wound up before the shot even gets to him.
Yeah.
Or the pass gets to him. It's just a solid play all the way around.
Then Pitlick scored an empty net goal. I didn't figure we needed a highlight of an empty net goal, unless it was Beckett Hendrickson passing at 5 feet in front of the net.
Shows the kind of player that he is, so we'll take it.
Yeah. So, Saturday, lost to Hartford 6-5. Was Lettieri and Brown again, pair of goals apiece. Bussy 30 of 36 shots. I don't know which goal you have there first, Chris.
This is Patrick Brown making it 1-0.
The Bruins have numbers the other way. Here's Pitlick with VL. Pitlick, the trailer. Brown, he scores.
Again, the shot. Why don't we see that shot at the NHL level when he gets called up?
Because he's playing on the fourth line.
Oh.
I don't know.
So again, they fell behind 2-1, and Lettieri ties it. Just like it was the opposite on Friday night. It was Brown that tied it.
Yep, and you got him highlighted in the circle here.
Will he shoot? He won't. He'll play it back up top for Mitchell. Now Lettieri.
And another bomb.
Yeah.
Power play, one-timer for Vinny Lettieri. He shot it that time and made no mistake.
So, they take the lead on Brown's second of the game.
He's got a man. It's Patrick
Make it
Brown.
3-2.
Let me get that one backed up here. So he's just on this side of the blue line.
Yeah, there's two of them there, but that's him going ahead.
Brown comes in, he shoots, he scores. Patrick Brown, second of the period, a rifle over the glove of Garand.
Tell you, that goal never should have gone in, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what makes Patrick Brown effective in the American Hockey League more so than the NHL, because he finds the back of the net on that play in the American Hockey League, and an NHL goaltender stops it. But, he knows what he has to do to get that kind of goal in the NHL. It's just a matter of where does the skill end.
Yeah, so then they fall behind 5-3. Trevor Kuntar finally scores a goal. to pull them within one.
He takes a bump from Connor Mackey. There's a shot. They score. Trevor Kuntar, who's been all over it tonight, he's pumped and jacked after a big goal from the left wing circle. And with 9:54 to go, it's a one-goal game again. He just fired it by Garand.
And he can rip the puck.
He's all kinds of fired up. Good job by Abate.
Man,
He can really wire the puck.
what a down year for him, though.
Yep.
I
So
was really
then
looking forward to him coming into this year.
Lettieri again ties it. That's his second of the game.
Who had the opening goal here on December 28th. Shot in front, they score. Vinny Lettieri's got two, and we're tied with 5:58 to go. The two-goal lead evaporates. Max Jones defeated in the left wing circle. Lettieri second of the game, 18th of the season, and we're
uncovered too. Backdoor uncovered.
And of course, they would lose it 6-5. I'll tell you, Sunday, probably one of the most exciting games. So Mikey DiPietro was in net. Ended up stopping 39 of 43 shots in the game. Before the game was 5 minutes old, they were down 3-0.
Then you can see that on the board here.
Sweezy would score to pull them within 2.
Oop, there we go. So you've got him highlighted, it looks like right here.
Yeah, that's a weak goal. Weak goal.
And of course, it was Wilkes-Barre Scranton. Was it Tristan Jarry?
No. So before the period ended, the Penguins would go up 4-1, and then the comeback started. So Jeffrey Bayel pulls them within 2. I think we've got this goal.
Of course we do. You got him highlighted here right behind the goal.
Wraparound.
On the wraparound, he banked it off the back of the skate of Larson and scored.
You know what? I just think people want to, the opposition just wants to avoid them.
I mean, I will say this, though. Goaltender's completely out of the net here.
Way out of the play. It's another goal that never should have happened.
Yeah, it gets stuck essentially out of position. Can't reposition for the wraparound. Like you said, never should have happened. Doesn't happen at the NHL level. So
yeah, so then Max Jones gets a pair to even it up 4-4. Let's do the first one first.
And
here he is in front of the net.
I was going to say right in front of the net by the arrow. Nice little tip in.
But you know what? That's where he's at his best, and that's what Boston wanted from him. It just never happened at the NHL level. In Boston, anyway.
Yeah.
Then he ties it 4-4.
Again, starting down low on the board here.
Helped around the boards by Jones. Up top to Brunet. Into the circle. A shot. Scores!
Good solid rip.
Max Jones ties it with his second of the game.
We've seen him score a few goals from that spot. Exactly that same spot. Then our good boy, Georgi Merkulov, would win it with 0.7 seconds left in overtime. I know the clock says 1 point something, but it was adjusted afterwards.
Dom, I'm going to say it. Say it for Kevin.
Georgi Merkulov.
All right, let's roll this one.
It's Brown that does all the work here.
Brown with 5 on the clock. Brown takes it into the middle, gets the shot away. Larson, oh, they score! Oh, they score! They score with 1.2 left on the clock. The Bruins win. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow. Right.
Who's actually... Yeah, he made a V-line for the net.
Yep. Look at this. He's behind the defenseman. He's right in, going to be right on top of the goalie, and is right there for the rebound.
They score with 1.
Right there for the rebound.
0.7 seconds left.
All right.
Boy, you think he was playing Boston with the way he scored at that late, eh?
Right. I do like Mike's question here. I want to pull it up in a second here, but did you have any other thoughts? I know you mentioned that the locker room interaction going into the third period and once they were down. Can you just give a little bit more background on what that was and kind of why you bring that up?
Yeah, they talked about it after the game. Just Patrick Brown, Vinny Lettieri, were really vocal, not letting the team get down. They even at 4-1, they made them believe they were still in the game. And you talk about why would we acquire a player like Vinny Lettieri? Why sign Patrick Brown? Blah 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 blah. You need 40 players to fill out a roster. You actually need 46 because not only do you have an NHL roster, you have to fill out an AHL roster. And Patrick Brown wasn't signed for the NHL, maybe to fill in here and there when needed. Vinny Lettieri wasn't acquired to be a full-time NHLer, maybe to fill in here and there. And we've seen both of them do it. But you need guys like this in Providence to help bring the young guys along.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because it's okay to bring a guy in for culture at the National Hockey League level, but it's not for the American Hockey League.
Yeah, but people forget that you've got to fill out an AHL roster too. That's another 23 players on top of the 23 that you have in the NHL.
Right. and the culture that's building in Providence, you want that energy brought up. Like, I know people are talking about call up a guy like Merkulov, call up a Fabian Lysell, call up. Fine. When you call them up, do you want them to be called up and be excited for the opportunity and also bring positive energy from Providence? Or do you want them to just be like, hey, I finally get my shot here. I have to show what I can do because I don't want to go back there, as opposed to I don't want to go back, but at the same time, if I'm sent back, it's okay. I can learn from there still. I'm in a good situation there, not a situation I want to avoid, basically.
Right.
So, but Mike's question here that I wanted to pull up, he says, who are your top 5 biggest improvers this season for Providence? Got to assume Farinacci, Brunet, and DiPietro are on the list.
Yeah, I would. I want to include Mason Millman in that, but he wasn't with Providence last year, so we won't. I would say Riley Duran and I don't know if you want to call him Providence because he looks like he's in the big club to stay now. Probably Mike Callahan in his time in Providence.
Yeah, Mike Callahan, I think, has gone under the radar for the season that he's had overall. He's not going to put up, offensive numbers. That's not the kind of player that he is. But, he is a solid shutdown D.
I still don't think he should have been selected for the All-Star team.
No, probably not. But
to add to that, I'll give you my disappointments.
Yeah, let's hear your disappointments. I was going to counter with that question. It's almost like you've done this show with me before, Dom.
No, never. Even though he got time in the NHL with Boston, Mark McLaughlin. Sorry, Kevin. Brandon Bussey. Trevor Kuntar.
Yep.
And are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Fabian Lysell.
I figured he'd be on there, honestly. He's not any growth that he's showing is so close to flat.
We kind of touched on it last night a little bit. 29 points in 43 games is nothing to write home about. It is not. Not for a guy that's supposed to be an offensive player. He should, at this point in his career, be over a point per game in Providence. Are they neutering him, saying you've got to work on this, that, and the other thing, and stop worrying so much about offense? That is a legitimate question. Do you think they're neutering him?
Maybe a little, but at the same time, he's not. He's we broke it down last week where he's not always making the right play.
Okay, stop right there. If he's not improving, then how can they be neutering him?
Well, so hear me out, right? So because he's not showing the opportunity, the ability to consistently make the right decision offensively, they're trying to push more of the defensive game onto him and thus neutering him a little bit. If he was being more consistent offensively, then they would be more apt to take those reins off and say, it's okay if you make more defensive mistakes because you will outscore them in the offensive zone. We had that a little bit, and we've talked about the quote from Don Sweeney. Is he outscoring his mistakes? Is Fabian Lysell outscoring his mistakes at the American Hockey League level? Right now, the answer is no. So why should he get moved up to the NHL level where he's going to do the exact same thing?
Well, I've said many a times that I think Fabian Lysell could learn from David Pastrnak.
I agree. And Fabian Lysell is not all prospects are treated and created equal. Fabian Lysell may be the type of player where you have to say, all right, listen, you have one last shot to prove to us. We're going to give you 4 games in the NHL. If we don't see any improvement, it's back to Providence and we're done. We'll keep coaching you, but if you don't take to it down there, we're not calling you back up to Boston. Because Fabian Lysell has also shown at times when he plays with elevated talent, he plays harder and better. So, I don't know. You got to find. I think a lot of what's going on with Lysell and restricting him, I think it's all up here. I think it's all.
I think it is too. I'm seriously. I'm not doubting the skill set. I think he's got some very elite skills. I'm beginning to question the hockey IQ.
That's a fair question. So, would you move on from Fabian Lysell in a trade?
No.
When do you pull that drawstring, though? If you're starting to have these questions now, when do you start to shop him before other teams are wondering why you're shopping a first-round draft pick?
Chris, if I see it, I guarantee you 32 NHL teams are seeing it.
Yeah, but 31 other NHL teams might be sitting there going, we can fix that. It's all mental.
No. If they think it's mental, if they think it's a hockey IQ thing, they know they can't fix it.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about an IQ thing. I'm talking about a mentality thing.
No. I'm saying I'm beginning to think it's a hockey IQ thing. And if I'm thinking that, 32 NHL teams are thinking that. And there isn't an NHL developmental staff that thinks they can fix hockey IQ, because you can't.
You don't think one may be looking at it going, they're just doing this wrong?
No. Hockey IQ is in the head. You can't fix it.
No, I know.
It's a skill you either have or you don't. You can't create it out of nothing.
So Mike says there was a time during this season where he elevated his game and should have gotten a 3 to 4 game stint in the NHL this season and wasn't rewarded. I believe he got hurt or got sick. They were going to call him up, but he got sick.
Yeah.
And then he follows that up with, he's young and inconsistent, but he was a first rounder. Give him a carrot. That's what I'm wondering. You know, is he the kind of player that needs a little bit of that, you know, just to see?
I've said, and I've said it a few times now on this show, I would bring him up and have him learn from David Pastrnak. Simple as that.
Look, with the way the big club is playing this year, the fact that you are now down McAvoy and Lindholm probably for the duration of the rest of the season, you have nothing else to lose. At least if you put Fabian Lysell in the lineup, you have reason for your fans to remain excited about this team.
I still think Merkulov will be the first one up.
Oh, I agree. Merkulov and Farinacci are playing their way up to it first.
If there's a trade, I think Trent Frederick is the first to go, and Georgi Merkulov will be the one to fill in for him. And why? Because he'll get to play with Manny Patra when Georgi Merkulov was at his best in the AHL this season.
Yeah, and they've got, right now they're doing Wahlstrom and Brazeau on the right side.
Yeah.
I wonder if that changes based on the move that you make.
If they move both Frederick and both Brazeau, my third line would be Georgi Merkulov on the left, Matt Patra in the middle, Fabian Lysell on the right. That's my third line. Yeah, sink or swim, get out there. It doesn't matter now if you lose 2-1 or 7-1.
Well, yeah, and from an organizational standpoint, you want your fans to remain excited. As they say, you're selling hope or you're selling wins. If you put that third line together, you are now selling hope to your fans, and you have given your fan base something to remain excited about over the last 25-ish game stretch, even though they look at it and go, yeah, you're not making the playoffs. But we've got this awesome young line that we get to watch and see how they develop at the NHL level.
And if it goes further that Matty Patra has moved up a line, and Brazeau and Frederick are still gone, my third line would absolutely be Georgi Merkulov on the left, Fabian Lysell on the right, and John Farinacci in the middle. Because John Farinacci is a long-term Charlie Coyle replacement. That's his upside, which is third line center.
Yeah, and let's face it, you're probably going to be able to get some of these guys through waivers after the trade deadline anyway. Even if you want to just shake up the roster and see what you can do, you know, Tufty's probably not getting called anywhere, claimed by anybody, or even, you know what, like you talked about yesterday, future considerations. Trade Tufty for future considerations. It's okay.
You know what? There's no roster limit after the trade deadline. You can carry 30 players as long as you have the cap space. It doesn't matter. It's making sure that the young guns like Patra, like Merkulov, like Lysell are on the Providence roster on trade deadline so that they be eligible for the AHL playoffs. You send them down, call them right back up. It's just a paper transaction to make them eligible for the AHL playoffs.
Yeah, and there are going to be plenty of other teams that are looking to do the exact same thing. So I don't want anybody to freak out about, oh my God, so-and-so is eligible for waivers. Other teams are going to, it's going to be an understanding that teams are just trying to get their guys through. So anyway.
They're not going to send anybody down that requires waivers anyway to play in the AHL playoffs. Who are they going to send down?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, the only player that I can think of would be Callahan. But now with your injuries, you probably want him to stay up with the big club. So let's see. Big Joe says, does Dom do a 2025 NHL draft prediction? Maybe a top 15 to 20?
Joe, I do a couple of different draft things. One, my main area is the Ontario Hockey League. If you go to ohlwriters.me, you'll find my draft coverage there for Ontario Hockey League players. I started pumping out player profiles. There'll probably be 40 of them done by the time the draft rolls around with my final rankings. And then sometime in June, before the draft, I will look at Bruins possibilities from round 1 to round 7. So I'll give you a few names that they can be looking at in each different round.
Yeah, and we'll have further conversation as the NCAA season comes to a close about some players that we want to potentially see them look at. I know Gleb Veremyev. Did I say that one right?
Veremyev.
I
don't know.
I know he's on your list as someone that you'd love for them to target, and I know Dalton Bancroft or Bancroft rather was mentioned earlier when we were talking about Cornell and those guys. So there's a couple I'm sure we could look at.
In the next month, I'll be doing is it the next one? We're in February. Yeah, somewhere towards the end of March, I'll be doing a NCAA free agent shopping list and a CHL free agent shopping list. Potential players who they could be looking at.
Yeah, because once a college season is done, those players can sign, right? Or do they have to wait till the semester is over?
No, they can sign.
Okay. So, yeah, it'll certainly be interesting. We got a couple weeks left on that. About, 4 to 5 games for most teams, and then playoffs.
Some only have 2.
2 to 5, yeah.
CHL has, what is it? They have 16 games remaining, 15. And then they have a long playoff like the NHL does.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything else come through on the trade front when it comes to the NHL, so we'll have to wait and see if anything drops between now and next week to secondary that deal that we talked about earlier. But Dom, any other thoughts to wrap up the Bruins prospect talk for another week here?
No, but I will say this. I usually take trade deadline day off of work. Not this year.
No?
No. What's the point?
Yeah, true. Especially from a Bruins perspective. I'm sure we'll have some excitement, but Bruins aren't going to be looking to do a whole lot.
I think for most teams, the bulk of it will be done before trade deadline.
Yeah, I think we're just mostly back on Rantanen watch.
Yeah, I mean, TSN, Sportsnet, those guys are going to be sitting there looking, okay, how do we fill 6 hours of airtime?
I know, right? I don't.
There you go.
Of all the years where I'm sitting there going, I wish I was doing a trade deadline special. I'm sitting here going, you know what? I'm kind of okay. We don't have anything planned.
Yeah. So
I can enjoy it and react to the 2 deals that occur. So, but yeah, I think the 4 nations really helped that along. I think we'll see a lot more movement in the offseason.
I think this is going to be an off season like we haven't seen in a while because teams are going to have a lot of cap space.
And a lot of teams over the last 3 to 5 years haven't shifted a lot.
No.
You know what I mean? Like Ottawa, they're still a bubble team. Detroit, still a bubble team. You know, Chicago, still a rebuilding team. Like a lot of these teams are going to try and take some swings. So
they got money. It's going to be a lot easier to do than it has been the last few years. So I think it's going to be an off season like we haven't seen in some time.
100% agree with you. And the best part is we will be doing shows throughout. So
yeah, some of them in my
is
sleep.
The place to be. Yeah, well, because you know what is it, Dom? This is the place to be, right?
Yeah.
So with that go ahead.
Where would you rather be on a Monday night?
At the game, maybe the Bruins game, but you know.
I was gonna say Florida, but no, I'll change that to the Bahamas.
Better weather, right?
Yeah, okay, better weather.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Canadian, remember?
Exactly. That's why I said better weather. Shout out to our friends over at Ice Shaker again. Check them out. They actually have, Dom, check this out. They came out with 10-ounce cups that are stackable, like just regular cups for your kitchen, because they're made out of the same stainless steel grade, kitchen grade. And so they don't hold the odors. And those are actually pretty cool. They come in a 3-pack for like, I think $20. But
really
super easy to keep clean. As you can tell, it's a non-stick surface, so things don't, you know, they just don't retain odors. Like,
well, they keep things hot too.
Yeah, honestly, keeping things hot in this is probably more effective than keeping things cold, just because the heat it's super sealed. Like when you get that cover on, the ice lasts for 30 hours plus. So if ice lasts that long, and you put like a boiling hot water in here, like a hot chocolate or something, coffee, you know, it'll stay hot forever. I haven't done a time test on that, but I know the ice and the ice, 100% true. I have left this in my car overnight in the summer with ice in it, and the ice is still there 24 hours later, a day and a half later. Honestly, almost 2.5 days later at one point for me.
Wow.
It is still, the ice might have melted. I think it was a Friday night after work. I left it in my car, and I found it again on Monday morning going into work. And, you know, it was just ice and water. And I was fully expecting, I was like, it's been 2 days. The ice was melted, admittedly. 2.5 days later, the ice was melted. But it was still
cold.
Super cold. Super cold. It was as if there was ice in it still. So
interesting.
Can't thank them enough. And as always,